Here we have a quick plot overview of the book Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo, and this is a 1932 war novel, and it's about a man who loses all his limbs and his face due to a war explosion. So first let's go over the characters, a list of characters. First off, we have Joe Bunham, a World War I soldier who loses all limbs and face due to an explosion in the war. Kareen, that is Joe's girlfriend. She kind of left him in a bad spot when he went to the war. Joe's nurse, she kind of bathed him and took care of him during his sad times of being lonely. The Morse Code Man, I don't want to spoil the Morse Code Man, but this was Joe's only source of communication when he was after the explosion and he lost all his limbs. And after that, we have his old friends and family from the memories that he experiences in the book. So first off, we have the exposition, and basically what happens is Joe wakes up to complete black and is left with nothing, not being able to move, see, or hear anything. He does have one limb remaining, and that is his left arm, so he doesn't know what's going on. He just wakes up and he doesn't see anything, and he can't do anything. Next up, we have the inciting incident, and this would probably be, to me, whenever Joe loses his arm in a hospital due to unknown reasons. They amputate it, and Joe doesn't know why, and he makes a large deal of this and writes a whole chapter about how bad it was. Moving on to the rising action, this is when Joe is remembering his past, and he slowly starts to realize that his life is pointless, and there's a little sad face because he's really lonely, and he can't really think of anything. Moving on to the climax. Now, to me, there was only one climax, but some people say that there's more, but I really thought that it was when Joe, he tried to commit Morse code to the nurse, and it actually worked, and he got the nurse to realize that he was committing Morse code, and the nurse went and got the Morse code man, and then this happens. This is the falling action. Joe requests to be shown to the public and have his story told, but the man said that it would not be good publicity for the war because they didn't want people to think that if you go to the war then bad things happen, and Joe was really torn up about that. And after that, he requested death because he did not want to live a life full of sadness and loneliness and not being able to think of anything. I thought that was a really interesting part of the book. And this is what will happen next. In the book, Johnny requests death, like I said, and the man says no, but you'll have to read the book to find out what happens. I don't want to spoil the ending. So will he have a peaceful death, or will something happen and he will get to live, in loneliness for forever and ever? My final thoughts. I thought this book was a good book. However, it did get boring and dry at most parts. There was really a lot of chapters where I felt like they shouldn't have been there, and the setting was kind of messed up throughout the book. It was kind of back and forth. The plot was very bad, but I did think that this book had a very good moral because it teaches you not to think bad about things that happen in your life. Like, don't take many things for granted, because one day you might wake up in a hospital and not be able to see, hear, move at all. The only way that he could communicate with people was by tapping his head on a pillow, and that's pretty sad. And it was a good book. I'm not going to say it was a bad book, but it's definitely not the best book I've read, and I felt like it could have been written a little bit better. So that was a quick plot overview and character analysis of the book Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo.